Hello, people of the interwebs. Welcome to my second car review channel, Give It the Beans. If you're new, up above is a link to my main channel that will hopefully fill you in on what is going on or something. Anyway, today I have a 2021 Volkswagen Jetta R-Line. And today we're gonna get it up on the lift and dissect what makes this thing tick. Going up, up. This actually helps. Up. Okay, first things first, we definitely got a case of the fake tips back here, because you can see, these, clearly not real. They weren't even trying on this side, they're just a big empty plastic cavernous B-box. Out back, you can see what makes this Jetta start under $20,000. It has a torsion beam rear suspension style, but it does come with SOX dampers. So that's nice. Some of you are probably perplexed right now as to what kind of car review takes place under a car and why I'm not talking about cup holders and infotainment systems. Welcome. Let's talk about goo. Namely, all this stuff that you see built up along the underside of the unibody. That's because Volkswagen Auto Group utilizes a wax injection process that they fill all the cavities, nooks, and crannies under the car with a wax material that will prevent corrosion from forming and building in all those little holes when you live in a northern climate that uses road salt. And you can see right here, some of it actually ran out of the car and built up, and it's gross. It's kind of like earwax. Car earwax. And in case you've ever wondered what the underside of a Mark 7 Volkswagen Jetta looks like, there you go. You can see they use a ton of underbody plastic cladding under here that aids in aerodynamics for fuel efficiency. It does have a full stainless steel exhaust, obviously, because it's 2021 model, and it's not really the biggest diameter piping, even though this is forced induction, because it's not that big of an engine. You can see all along the pinch weld, those little dirty marks, that's that anti-corrosion coating that's seeping out. Much rather have that than rust though. I appreciate this. Aluminum and plastic, none of that felt covered cardboard stuff a lot of other manufacturers use. This A7 Jetta does utilize a McPherson strut style front suspension, and all the suspension components on this car are stamped steel. There's nothing under here that's made out of aluminum, but you gotta look at the price point of this thing. This is a super affordable car. The exhaust hanger for the catalytic converter looks like some kind of little pasta shells. Ah, it's made in España, that's why. Up underneath this plastic engine cover, which does not have a little access drain for oil, you have to remove it, that kind of sucks, is a 6-speed manual transmission. That's what's up. Now you can get this with an auto and ISN 8-speed automatic transmission if you wish, but nope, 6-speed manual. Get one while you still can. Now it's time for a sound test. In the name of science, I shall now give this thing the beans. Now, there is no physical button in this car to turn off your traction control and stability control. I think that's kind of silly. You have to go into the infotainment system and go into vehicle settings, and then in there it says ESC system. You can select ASR and turn that off. Okay, ASR is turned off, and let's see what this thing can do. Ready? Ooh, little wheel spin. A little bit of wheel spin, I didn't mean to do that. It doesn't really benefit winding it all the way out to red line. You can short shift in this car and it's probably just as quick. Ooh, there's a mosquito in front of my face. Ooh. It's not bad. It's got so much torque that it makes it fun. As far as the wheel and tire package goes on this R-Line model, I don't know why I did that because now my hand's dirty. It is 17 by 7, but what I like about it is it's finished somewhere between silver and gunmetal. It's like right in between. I love the look, the finish of these wheels. They're wrapped in a 205 55 17-inch Nexen Neprizate. I don't actually think that's a word, and this isn't very much of a performance tire, which should make this thing fun to chuck. Behind those wheels is a set of single piston front calipers with 11.5-inch front rotor, or this many millimeters for my metric folk. It's not exactly a heavy car, and because this is the R-Line model, it comes with the XDS differential system, which is basically just a brake-induced diff that kind of mimics a true LSD, but it's a nice step up from a base model, so at least it has that. There is some functional aero on this car. You can see a little vent right here where air can pass through the front bumper on the side of the fog light, and down there you have another channel to direct air for cooling your brakes. And lastly, in the rear you get a 10.8-inch rotor with a single piston caliper, but now it's time to see how these brakes work. Time for the braking test. Nobody behind me. Ready? Go. Ooh. Took a little while for this thing to come to a stop. I think it all had to come down the tires though. You could see the ABS system was fighting to get this thing to come to a stop. Pop the hood. Oh, scheiße. It's a heavy hood. Under the hood of this 2021 Volkswagen Jetta, I'm sure the people I triggered in the beginning of this video when I said Volkswagen are super thrilled right now. You're welcome. Is a EA 211 1.4 liter all aluminum dual overhead cam direct inject turbo 4-cylinder that produces 147 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 184 pound-feet of torque at only 1,400 RPM. Some important details on the EA211 is that it utilizes a 74.5 millimeter by 80 millimeter bore and stroke. It has die-cast forged crank and rods, iron sleeves, even though it is an aluminum block, as well it does have variable valve timing on intake and exhaust as well. And you can see the engine is slightly cambered towards the rear. It does have a plastic intake manifold up here in the front. You can see the turbo in the rear is not obstructed by the wiper cowl, which would make this fairly easy to work on. And yeah, it's plastic charge pipe. Not too bad. I wouldn't mind working on this car. I actually looked up on APR's website. They're a tuner for Volkswagen and Audi products, and they quote this car at the engine after doing some dyno testing in a Mark 6 Jetta produced 163 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque, which is considerably more than what this is rated at. And if you're wondering, at the wheels with their Stage 1 tune package, this thing produced 165 wheel horse and 252 pound-feet of torque on 93 octane. So this car is some tuner potential for sure right there. That's a ton of torque. Okay, let's take this thing for a spin. Torques. Torques, torques, torques. Wow, you can definitely notice the dual mass flywheel on this car between shifts. It just has so much rev hang. It's not a bad thing. It's not meant to be a performance car. I love how down low, there's so much torque in this car. You don't ever really need to rev this thing all the way out to red line to have fun with it. You can just keep it in the lower half of the rev range. Not too low though. If you start dropping below 2,000 RPM, it like falls flat on its face. There's nobody home. But you keep it right there in that sweet spot, and it's good stuff. If you had to ask me what my favorite type of car to review is, it's this right here. Vehicles that are easily affordable by most people and are fun to drive. In a world where automatic transmissions and CVTs have completely taken over, still finding something with a 6-speed manual that's fun and affordable is an absolute win. This is the best possible situation. The downsides of this Jetta, I would have to say, is pretty much since the Mark 5 generation, I think the styling has kind of gone downhill a little bit, just kind of looks cheap overall. Handling wise, it handles like an economy car. It has cheap tires on it, but that also makes it a little bit fun because the tires start to squeal early on and you can feel it get loose and shifty on you. It's just I don't know, it's an enjoyable experience to commute in. And I would definitely recommend this to someone that just wants an affordable little commuter car that is good on gas, because this absolutely is. The fuel economy on this thing is astonishing. It doesn't really matter what you do to it, it still just stays above 30 miles per gallon. Even though I'm glad this does have a 6-speed manual, The shifter is a little sloppy and spongy, but these are things that are easily upgradable and replaceable. And with a car in this price point, it makes it a great entry model for someone that wants possibly their first tuner car, but still wants something that's new. You could spend a couple more grand and get into a GLI, but I don't know. There's something special to me about entry model vehicles that it's just fun to see what you can do with them. And especially this EA 211 that's in this car. It's only a 1.4 liter. I know for the 2022 model, they updated this engine and changed it to a 1.5 liter. Has a little flat bottom steering wheel with the Golf R-Line logo on there. That's nice. I don't know. $22,000 car, it's hard to find any complaints with it. As far as its competitors go, the Elantra N-Line would probably be my pick as far as infotainment and tech goes on the insides. Styling wise, might even have to give it to Hyundai also. I like the Jetta though, just because of the pedigree of the Jetta and the fact that it's still around. They haven't discontinued it when there's so many cars that have gotten scrapped. I hope this car sticks around, and I hope they continue to offer it with a manual transmission. All right, so for those of you that are coming over from my main channel, I know this is considerably different than my normal car reviews. For those of you that are new to this channel, please check out my main channel for more in-depth car reviews. I want this channel just to stay focused on the mechanical aspects of a new car and then a little one-take style driving portion at the end. And as far as my rating system goes, I was debating whether or not to even do it on this channel, but let's do it. Bean score is going to be 1.3 beans on this Jetta R-Line with the 6-speed manual. Definitely recommend getting a manual if you're gonna get one of these cars. It makes the driving experience that much better in here. It just makes the car. Cookie score goes, this is excellent value. I'd give this 4.2 cookies because of the price point. It's 22 grand and change before the fees that get tacked on at the end when you go to buy a new car. That's great. The only thing it's lacking in is the infotainment system. Feels like you're using a Windows 95 computer. It's very dated looking, but the tech is still there. And overall, how much do I like this car? I would give it 3.6 penguins. I definitely enjoyed driving this Jetta. I like these type of cars, and yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you soon with another. Bye!